Hello, everyone's Forest Focus. Nottingham Forest up to fourth in the Premier League as they show incredible team spirit to come back and beat Aston Villa with late goals from Nikola Milenkovic and Anthony Elanga in the face of real adversity. Joining me to discuss a brilliant win under the lights at the Sea Ground in full are, first of all, Simon Fotheringham. Fothers, evening, mate. How you doing?
Hi, Matt. I'm all right. Voice is a little bit croaky after an unbelievable couple of hours at the City Ground this afternoon and a smile as wide as the Trent.
Yes, your voice is croaky. I'm on one eye still, but I'll leave the camera on. I'm feeling slightly better than yesterday, so antibiotics are kicking in now finally. So yeah, good to have you with us, Fothers. Chris Aylmer, how you doing?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just about catch my breath. Most of the game was fairly dull, and then all of a sudden it just came alight at the very end there. My missus is wrapping presents in the other room, and I went into her and said, "Did you hear me screaming?" She said, "Did I effing hear you screaming?" Yeah, I heard you screaming. Like it was magic at the end. So yeah, I'm delighted.
I've got out of wrapping. I mean, I can say, no depth perception means I'll cut my finger off if I help. So I've got out of all the wrapping, certainly. Mark Sutherns, I might have a bone to pick with you. You're with us for 25 minutes. How are you, first of all?
I'm all good. I mean, all wins are good, but wins like that, they're the best wins ever, aren't they? Under the lights, 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go, and you turn it round. It's fantastic.
So I reference I might have a bone to pick with you. Did you go with your son again tonight?
Yes. So 2 wins out of 2 for Billy.
Yes, that's what it is. So I might have helped you get tickets for the West Ham game, which we won 3-0. And I took my son's the Newcastle game. Then I might have helped you get tickets for this game. So I've decided I'm father of the year, but for the wrong kid. So doing all right on one front.
But yes, I'm very happy, and Billy's very happy, and he's got 100% record thanks to you, Matt. So thanks.
No, it's brilliant. I've converted another fan. Right, Mark, you're with us for 25 minutes, like I say, so we'll give you first dibs. What did you make of it in general from the ground before we get into specifics?
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from the result, it was a very interesting performance because we kind of played very differently, I felt. Anderson and Gibbs-White taking it in turns to come deeper in the first half. And it was very cagey, very tactical. A lot of midfield play, not a lot created. I think they had a chance from a set piece first half. We had a couple of opportunities, but it was just a very cagey first half. But I always felt like we had the better footballers on the pitch. I always felt like we looked the more comfortable and more creative with the ball. They really struggled to open us up. And I felt if we went in at 0-0, we'd turn it around in the second half and win it. So I was confident at half time. Then when the goal went in, they definitely improved second half. They were getting Cash and Dina forward a lot more. They were more of a factor, and they did look like they had the upper hand. And then Nuno made the changes, and the belief when the goal went in. When the goal went in, I saw Yates in the centre circle with the ball. I saw the players all, egging each other on, and the fans just reacted, and I'll just turn the air conditioning on. Hold on, the fans just reacted, and sorry about that. And we found the belief and passion, and the players coming off the bench made the difference.
Have you learned how to hotel air conditioning? I can never turn on or off. You turned it off. You're a seasoned hotel traveller. There's a few things I've noted down then, just in general, a few key themes. Fothers, first of all. I mean, team spirit was the first thing I noted down because we did have quite a lot of adversity in the game. We'll talk about decisions that went our way or against us, but to go 1-0 down, having been on the wrong end of probably perhaps the best save I've ever seen. I don't know, up there with the one Seaman made for Arsenal, and then to go behind to not only get a point but to win the game shows there is something special about this team. Whether it lasts or not, we'll wait and see. But in this moment, there is something special in this team, isn't there?
There is, and there's a togetherness that I haven't seen for probably since the season we got promoted, to be honest. And I thought that the VAR decision almost riled everyone up, didn't it? And you could almost feel like the players were sort of reacting to the adversity of that decision that I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit more a bit later on. But it's ultimately the wrong decision that's been made by VAR, and it sort of, I don't know, there was a steel about the players, and Yatesy was winding everybody up, and you felt that if we got one back, then there was a belief that they could go on and do it again. I mean, that for me, that 15 minutes from, I think the VAR decision was on about 80, wasn't it? And I think for me, that 15, 17, 18 minutes, whatever it was with the added time, is as good as anything we've done since we got promoted. And the belief, the togetherness, the fight, the atmosphere at the City Ground this afternoon was as good as anything since we got promoted as well. Just a fantastic day. What a day.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of evoking, Bristol City away, but obviously we're a much better team, and I thought we actually played really well in the game overall. But to come out of it, and a point would have been amazing, but to get 3. The next thing I noted down, Chris, was just about big players showing up. Obviously Milenkovic gets a goal. Morgan, I felt, was key to it, because I don't think Pete would mind me saying this. We were messaging saying Morgan needs to be doing more in this game. When we were 1-0 down, I don't think he was playing well. But as soon as we went behind, he really showed up, and quite a few of the other players, the players that you look to when you're 1-0 down, showed up. And you need that, don't you? And they delivered.
100%. And I think with Morgan, it kind of happened last week as well. There was moments in the game where he wasn't quite there for the first 45 minutes at Old Trafford, and then he came alive second half. But you need those big game players. There was a point in the match where I was sat there, and it might have been like 65 minutes or something after Villa had scored, and I thought, look, both teams were doing brilliant defensively, so we're not going to be able to break them down. We need moments of magic. We need our ball playing players, our Andersons, our Morgan Gibbs-Whites, to step up. And he did. He was the one that set Hudson-Odoi away for the start of that move before it came back to him. And then that lovely ball for Elanga for the offside goal. He was the one that laid the ball across for Milenkovic. It's just, he came alive, and it's almost like he grew with the threat of losing the game. And I absolutely loved that. I really did. So that's why he plays the game. That's why you have your big game players playing. That's why you can allow them to have a few bad passes or make a couple of bad decisions first half and it not quite work out, because at the back end of the game, at the death, they're going to be the ones providing the killer ball. And that killer ball for Elanga as well was one. We were unlucky not to get a goal from that. Obviously it was offside, or VAR deemed it offside, but it just unbelievable. And Gibbs-White deserves credit. Hudson-Odoi as well was in the game, and Elanga and Morato, I thought, coming off the bench, what they did off the bench, Morato's particularly was just a Rolls Royce. So big game players making big game decisions, and Milenkovic too, just all of them. I don't know, it was such a poor game prior to that, and then all of a sudden it came alive. So it's just it's hard to put into words. But Gibbs-White, loved them at the back end anyway.
Yeah, I mean, subs were massive, Mark, weren't they? Feel free to elaborate on any of that, but also just on Elanga, probably the most maligned player this season. I was just so pleased for him to show up. He, on his interview on Sky afterwards, he admitted he hasn't had a good season, but he knows he's capable of more, and we needed that, didn't we? And he stepped up as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's made a difference all season, isn't it, having quality on the bench that we can bring off. But when Elanga's coming on with 20 minutes to go, he can be devastating. That pace, the directness of his running, and he showed composure with the finish. But he set the Wood goal that wasn't. I don't know how close that VAR decision was. It was difficult to tell in the ground. Okay, it was close then by that reaction.
Well, it was he was given offside for his hands leaning forwards at a very. Right. It comes down. We'll get onto it. But it comes down to the semantics of where and when you draw the line. I think, but it was what it was.
Yeah, as soon as he came on, Emery reacted by taking Dina off and trying to bring Maatsen on to counter it, but that didn't work. They knew they were in trouble, and just the aggression we showed in the last 20 minutes. Once they scored, the aggression we showed from that point on, they couldn't live with it. They couldn't cope with it. The big players on the pitch we had, Anderson and Gibbs-White, they were the players that were playing with guile and aggression that they couldn't match. And it's almost like as soon as they scored, that just triggered us, and we took over. And I think just overpowered them in the last 20 minutes. They couldn't cope, and as soon as we equalised, I thought we can win this. We can take him in the final, whatever the stoppage time would have been, and it was like it was kind of just through the will and desire of the players, and the ability of key men in that match was too much for Villa. And it's just crazy. This is a team that are now competing well in the Champions League, by the way, Villa. And I know that people will say, well, it's the legs, and they went to Leipzig in a week, and that probably did affect the last 20 minutes. But even in terms of quality, though, in terms of man-for-man quality, we matched them, right? So that's huge. We're now going toe-to-toe with a team that finished top 4 and in Champions League this season, and not looking out of our depth, anything but that. I thought we had more quality than them when it mattered, and certainly more aggression and belief, and that's what told in the end.
What was it? I'm going back to what we said before we start recording, really, here, Father. So I'm asking you the same question. You want to know the answer. What was it like at the end in terms of the atmosphere and ranking it up against anything else?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like, I love turning around when we score and looking at the fans and looking at the reaction, and everyone was just overjoyed. And I just think game by game, it's beginning to sink in, like, that we're in this now. We're in this not only in the top 10, but in this race for potentially a European spot, whatever that might be. And, you know, I think when you see us competing with teams like Villa and more than competing and winning the game, the belief just starts to set in. And it's always belief on the pitch, but I think in the stands, we're kind of still, what's happening here? We're still asking ourselves what's going on, what the momentum that we're building and what Nuno is building with the team and the connection that we've got, again, which we didn't think we'd ever rediscover when Cooper left. But what we're building is just quite remarkable. And I just think you look around and all the faces are kind of like amazed at what we're seeing, the performance of the players and the results that we're getting. And it's a sweet ride, that's for sure. And who knows where it's going to take us. But what a time to be a Forest fan. It's crazy.
What was it like for you, Fathers? You were in the Trent end, so I think you would have seen pretty much everything apart from the Villa goal. What was it like for you in that end of the ground at full time?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's probably the noisiest I've heard it since probably since Woody equalised against Man City in the first season back. And when they put status quo on at the end and you know, rammed that noise up or ramped the noise up, it's just incredible. And it's so good. I mean, the place is bouncing, and even when Rocking All Over the World's finished, the place is still half full. And then Freed From Desire comes on, the players are dancing on the pitch. It's you've just got to sort of pinch yourself that it's actually happening, haven't you? And then I get a message from my daughter showing me the league table, and we're fourth, and it's just like it is. It's I feel very fortunate at the moment to have a season ticket. I feel for the people that can't get down. It's a shame that it's not a bit bigger, and I'm sure it will be when we get round to the main stand and all that sort of stuff, so more people can share it. But to drown, I thought the Villa fans were good today, but the last 10 minutes, last 15 minutes, when we started to put them under serious pressure that they couldn't handle, I thought everything about it, from the players, the fans, was just second to none. It was just really lucky to be there.
730 people with us already, which is amazing. So as Steve says, do us a favour and hit like. That'd be very much appreciated. Jason, I noticed you telling me to stop touching my eye in the comments. I will do my very best. It's itching quite a lot. But I did see that. We'll do things a bit back to front then, because Mark's with us for another 10 minutes or so, and we'll look a little bit big picture before we get into the main things. Now, Mark, I don't know if you were here when I was saying this to the other chaps. I did look how many points you need to get into the Champions League in the last 5 years. And it's 66, 67, 71, 71, and 76. I can't remember if that's in the right order or not. We're on track for 67. Am I getting completely insanely giddy? I think you're a pragmatic, level-headed bloke. How are you feeling about it all?
Oh, yeah, I'll take Conference, Europa League. I mean, if we get Champions League, it'd be ridiculous. I mean, we've seen it though. It's funny, isn't it? Like, at the start of the season, you think, there was a Newcastle who made it the season before last, and it was Villa last season. And I think in our heads, we must be, but there's always a team that breaks through, that gets into the top 10, top 8, top 6, or maybe even top 4. It looks like it's us. It really does look like we're that team this year, and we're fortunate perhaps in that there's inconsistency below us with teams like Newcastle United, Spurs, and so on. Even Brighton are dropping points as well. So there's not a team that is like, behind the big six that is being consistent. We seem to have gate crashed it. I mean, as the weeks go by and the points come in, it's hard to stop thinking that isn't the case. It seems that we're now in this top, not only in the top 10, but in the hunt for a European place. I'll take anything. I mean, Greg will be over the moon on Monday, sure. He will take the Conference any day of the week, won't he? So Champions League will be absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm not thinking on those terms. Not yet. Maybe with 10 games to go if we're still in the hunt.
Just before I go to Chris with that question as well, just a reminder, it's December the 22nd, which isn't far away now, is the Rick Parfitt Junior gig. I think there's a few tickets left. It's almost sold out, but here's a quick reminder of what you can get, and we'll see you with the same question for Chris in 26 seconds. Chris Mark said there about inconsistencies with teams like Newcastle and Villa. There's inconsistencies as well with teams like Spurs and more importantly, is the right phrase, Man City. Now, deep down, I really believe Man City will come good because they're Man City. But even just to dream about it, for me to be reading out tallies for the last 5 years getting the Champions League is mad. Are you dreaming or not?
Yeah, I am. And I'll tell you, I've been on this podcast a few times with Mark, and when you hear logical, sensible Mark talk about dreaming about top four and thinking it might work out, then you start to believe even more. So, no, I am 100%. December was meant to be our hard month. We just picked up 6 points. 3 of them were at Old Trafford. People were worried about our home form. We've won 4 out of the last 5 home games, and our away form isn't too shabby. So when you're doing both of those things at the same time, you know what's going to happen. I think with the Premier League in general this year, particularly this season, if you look at teams like Brentford and you look at teams like Bournemouth and you look at teams like Forest, some of those middle pack teams, and we've jumped into the middle pack and extended that further, some of those middle pack teams have closed the gap to what was the big 6 from before. You can see Bournemouth and Brentford and those teams climbing, and we're above that. We're doing even better than that. We're losing games to Arsenal and City and then going off and beating Man United at Old Trafford. We're winning the games we should win, like we did against Ipswich a few weeks ago. When that happens and you feel that momentum, and we're going to spend Christmas Day above Man United. I love that, by the way. Or as it stands above Manchester City, right? So whatever anyone says about tomorrow's game, they may win against Man United. They probably should, but both teams are fairly off form. Or as it stands above Man City, and we're nearly at Christmas. That's ridiculous. You have to start dreaming then. You have to start believing that it's possible to get in, break into Europe, break into the Conference, Europa or Champions League, whatever it is. So, yeah, I am dreaming, and I'm not going to wake up until someone tells me to do so.
I think as well, Chris makes a good point there, Fothers. You could say Fulham, who've gone to Liverpool today and got a point against 10 men, but it's still a great point. Brentford, Brighton, and probably us, that clutch of teams that are challenging the order of the top teams, I think. One of them can break out. Do you think it's going to be us or not?
I think it can be. I think it's great. Don't you think it's great that everybody hates it as well? Like the top 4, they hate it, don't they? They hate it when the whippersnappers from Nottingham go to Old Trafford and win, and go to Anfield and win. They just hate it because they've had it for so long. They've had it their way for so long. And I think it's great to see, not so much Brentford. I've got a problem with Brentford, as you know, Matt, but certainly teams like Fulham, Bournemouth to a lesser extent. It is great to see them challenging. And why not us? I sat here 2 weeks ago and I told you I was still looking at the gap between 18th and where we are. And I think for the first time today, as I was walking home over Trent Bridge, I didn't actually look at the bottom of the table, and I've put my Christmas tree up. Life's great, isn't it? So let's embrace it, and why not? Why not us? Somebody will, and I think we're better than those other teams that you've just mentioned. So why not?
I think we are. One last general point before we get into game specifics. Mark, one of my criticisms, or not criticism, that's not the word, question marks against the team and Nuno is what happens when we go 1-0 down? Do we just throw every forward on and kind of panic a bit and get a bit ragged? But today we didn't, and part of that's team spirit. But I think you've got to give Nuno credit for sticking to the plan and creating chances against a really well-organised team. So do we have to tip our hat again to Nuno for the work he and the staff did?
He got every substitution absolutely spot on. I was wondering when I saw Jota warming up who he would take off, and it was the right call. He went more attacking at the end when he brought Elanga on. He took Yates off. Obviously, Murillo was struggling. every substitution would be what I would have wanted him to do. He just got it right. He turned up the attacking pressure at the right time. He could see that Villa were tiring, and he had players to bring on that could be impactful, and they were. And give him the tools, and he can deliver. And hopefully from this point on, we're able to give him even more tools to work with, and he's proving that if you do that, he can get us results. It's just incredibly exciting to see him go off at the end as well and just salute the fans. And what a job he's done to win us round. I mean, there were some skeptics, and obviously after Cooper, that's an incredibly hard act to follow in terms of linking yourself and building that relationship with the fans. He's done it. He's more than done it. And it's incredible the job he's done.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think you have to tip your hat for everything. We'll find out more about Murillo and Ryan Yates, to what extent they were injured. Yates rolled his ankle very early in the game. I was surprised he lasted as long as he did. And Murillo went down, and he actually went off this time, which it is a worry if he goes off. So we'll wait and see. But again, Morato was really good when he came on. So yeah, I'm not too worried if it's a couple of games or something. But we'll pick that up on Monday when we know more, hopefully. Let's get into some match specifics then. There's not much to say on the first half. It was a very cagey tactical game. There was probably one talking point around a penalty appeal for Villa, Chris. You and me are the only ones who've had a chance to look at it multiple times. I thought, we got away with one. What do you think? I don't know.
As you said to me in the message during the game, if it was the other end, I'd be screaming for it. But I still felt it would have been soft if it was given. On the replay, it looks like he is tugging him back, but Rodgers does go down very easy. In real time, I didn't think there was anything in it. But as I watched the replay, I'm thinking maybe it is, but it would have been soft. I suppose the one thing I could say in general about the refereeing today was he was quite lenient, and I quite liked that. He let a lot of things go. He didn't book anyone early. He wasn't trying to stamp his authority. It was actually, he's a young enough referee, and he did very, very well. Look, I think I understand why the ref didn't give it, and then in that case, it's going to take a lot for VAR to sort of overturn that. So I'm leaning more on the not a penalty after seeing it again and again and again. But if you slow it down, of course, it looks like a penalty, but a soft penalty. But yeah, I'm leaning more towards no. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think it's one where if the ref gives it, it's not getting overturned. It's probably how best to sum it up. Mark, you've got to go any minute now to get dinner with Billy. Anything you want to add before you depart?
Yeah, I mean, you'll talk about man of the match, but I've just had a look at some stats on a certain player. He won the most tackles. He won 7 tackles out of 10. He created the most chances. He completed the most dribbles. He made the most recoveries. Elliot Anderson was just ridiculous. I mean, we look at that performance and what he gave and the numbers he produced, and he obviously had the decisive action with the assist for Elanga, which was just to show that level of composure at that stage in the game. He was absolutely fantastic. One of the best performances I've seen from a midfield player at the City Ground for a long time, I think. And what a player we've got, and it's so exciting because he's developing, and he's just got to be on the team sheet somewhere. And we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, I think so. Massively. Right, shall we let you go, Mark? Because you want to get dinner. Right.
See you next time.
We'll see you after the Brentford game, mate, and after the Spurs game. You're a hero.
Cheers.
You're a hero.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Legend.
Bye.
Legend.
Right. Does Mark know how to get himself out? Shall I just get rid of him? I'll get rid of him. There we go. He's done it. Right. That was a good battle for us between Anderson and Rodgers. A couple of people noting in the chat as well. I mean, fair play. Rodgers is a good player, and that could have decided the game. But hang on, it was Kieran and Liam. I'll put that up. Ultimately, Elliot came out on top of it, didn't he? Going back to front as we're doing all through this show, was he your man of the match or not?
I think he was. I think Rodgers is a class act, isn't he? That's the first time I've seen him play live. Although I was at Villa Park in February when they beat us 4-2. Maybe just didn't notice him then. But yeah, he's some player. But I think we all forget how young Elliot Anderson is as well. For somebody so young to come into a lineup, and let's be honest, he's been in and out, hasn't he? He's not been Nuno's first choice every game, but he's just getting better and better. And those stats that Mark's just said there just underlines just how good he was today. He's outstanding. And that's why the Newcastle fans didn't want him to go. That's why we're very lucky to have him. And he's just going to get better and better. And I'm enjoying watching him play, mate. He's just really, really good.
Yeah, he's class. He's class. Who was your man of the match, Chris?
I think Milenkovic. I think defensively he was brilliant. He was organising the back four so well, and then obviously he got the goal. Sheer strength to get that goal. So Milenkovic probably for me. Williams as well. Maybe actually, I thought Williams was really, really good on that left hand side, and he created that goal. The Milenkovic goal. He took the ball, came back to him. I know we're going to talk about it, but it just the way in which he took it, and then, rather than swing a ball in, made a lovely little pass for Gibbs White, who crossed it in for Milenkovic. So between Milenkovic and Williams, I'd say Anderson's definitely up there for sure. But I actually, in the first half, just to go back on what Fathers were saying about Anderson and Rodgers, that battle, Anderson at some point, probably around the 35th minute, I messaged you, Matt, he was losing that battle a bit. Rodgers was getting the better of him. There was 2 or 3 times he got ahead of him. There was obviously the near penalty. There was a free kick outside the box that Anderson had to give away, and that was swung in, and Villa nearly scored from that. So I actually felt there was an initial part of the first half, which we kind of forget. He was losing that battle, but then that just shows the strength of character he has to come back and be even better second half in the game. And he was brilliant today overall. But sometimes I just don't understand when Milenkovic is ever going to put a foot wrong. There was a point where Sells made a first half save, parried it into a dangerous area, and Milenkovic just flicked it away with his back heel as if it was nothing. He's ridiculously good. I think I've given him man of the match a few times before. So for me, it's him. Another goal for him, a big goal. So Milenkovic for me.
I think now he's adding goals to his game as well, because he had a really good chance. There was a home game, the one before Ipswich.
West Ham, he had 2 good chances.
When the West Ham goalkeeper made an unbelievable save from a chance. So he's got a goal. Last week, he's got another one today. What a player.
Yeah, we're a threat from corners as well, aren't we? Like, we are a real threat from corners today. And now that Milenkovic is jumping in, it's extra special. Anderson's crosses as well. But Jack,
I was going to say, and it's Anderson putting the balls in from the set pieces as well. So yeah.
They were the 2 for me. Anderson's so dynamic that he can do a bit of everything, can't he? So yeah, they were the 2. I see a couple of other shouts. Callum Hudson-Odoi got a mention as well, which is good. I mean, I thought he was much more energetic, confident than he's been. So it's good to see him back at it. There were quite a few who had really good games. So interesting debate and some worthy contenders certainly. Right into the second half, which is where it all kicked off and was one of the most entertaining halves we'll see after one of the more dour tactical halves. Interesting first half, only in a tactical way. That save from Martinez, I don't know, did you get a good view of it, Fothers, from behind the goal? Was it as good in person as it looked on TV?
Yeah, I did. But I sit right next to the big screen, Matt, as you know. And so I knew it was an unbelievable save because I thought it was in. My first reaction is I've gone up. Dominguez has scored. And it was only really when I got a chance to look at the screen, they showed the replay on the big screen. And it was just, he's such a good goalkeeper. He's made another one, hasn't he? 5 minutes later. Somebody had a shot on the near post. I didn't see him have the shot. Was that Nico? Yeah. So Nico's hit a shot on it, and again, it's not as good as the save from Dominguez, but it's another class save. And then I'm sure we'll come on to the goal in a minute. He maybe, arguably, should have done better with Milenkovic's header, but it's point blank, and he's really nailed the header. But yeah, that save is as good as anything I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think you can't really say Dominguez should have done better or anything like that, could you, Chris? It was just one of those where you've got to put 100% of the credit on the keeper, haven't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. And with Dominguez, like, he basically in that position, the ball's coming straight across. It's through a few bodies and heads as well. He's basically just got to get as much power as possible on that, because it's hard to get direction when it's coming that fast. He's just got to get as much power, and he did. And for me, the part about the save that was special was not just the fact that he stopped it, because obviously it's coming kind of straight at him a little bit, maybe a bit to the left or the right, but it's the fact that when it goes down onto the line, he saves it and almost scrapes it away as he's saving it. It's like this incredible reflex. And Fathers, if you watch the replay, it's out of control. It's like there and then down. It really is kind of similar to David Seaman-esque from before, where he's holding the ball and then sweeping it away. It just really good save. And of course, 2 or 3 minutes later, they score a goal. So it just shows you how important those actions are. And we should give credit to people like Selves for last week for the save he did against Bruno. But, you know, today, Martinez, he put them in pole position with that because a couple of minutes later, they scored.
Yeah.
And again, generating as much power as you can on a header. Have you seen a replay of the goal, Fothers, or just did you see it live?
I haven't seen a replay of the goal, but I was right in line with it, and it's some header. I don't know. I don't know whether you can blame Matt Sells for that. I'd like to watch it back, and obviously I'll see it on Match of the Day tonight. But from where I was sat, it was a bullet header. I mean, there's tremendous cross as well from the left, and I think Sells has done all he can, to be honest.
What about you, Chris? Can Sells do better or not?
Well, yeah, at first, you know what, when I watched the replay, I felt like it was more of a hopeful ball in from McGinn. Like, obviously, he's aiming in that general direction, but you don't expect him to put it back in because of the angle he's sitting at. You expect him to put it back out wide and restart the phase, but he puts it straight in. Defending-wise, Duran found himself on his own, and I don't know if it was Murillo that had left him, but I can't really. It was annoying because I want to blame someone. I'm like, oh, who should I blame straight away? That's I know it sounds bad, but as a football fan, you're like, whose fault was that? I don't know if it was anyone's. It was a really good ball in from McGinn. It tricked our defence. Duran stayed on side. It was a really good header. Sells was slightly off his line because it went over him, didn't it? So he must have been slightly off his line. It was a powerful header, but over him, I think. So for that, maybe slightly, but for the most part, Sells has been really, really good for us the last few weeks. And I'm not going to pick him apart for maybe being slightly off his line from a powerful header from a really informed goal scorer. So no, I'll let it go. But that's probably only because we won. I'll let it go, but I'll let it go.
Was the header when he headed it? Was it far out? Was he on the 6-yard line, or was he a bit?
Yeah, he was far out. He was about 8 to 10 yards out, I think. Am I right, Matt?
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching it now, to be honest, on my phone. So he clips a ball in and gets above Murillo. It's a decent ball into an area, but Duran's peeled off Murillo. I think it's a great header, to be honest. I think it's he's talking of some players like Rodgers. Duran is just ridiculous. Like, he's 20 years old.
Even Watkins out the team at times.
Yeah, he looks better than Watkins. So I would be, if Sells saves it, then you say that's an incredible save. So I would say I'm not critical of Sells for that one. I think you give the credit. I think, Jason says, ruthless header. I think it was ruthless. Yeah, and I think you give the credit to Duran, who's a very good player. But from there, I mean, we look in real trouble because, they're a good side. They're very hard to break down. I think, like I said earlier, we've struggled against teams when we go behind that are well organised. Just the response, incredible. We'll start with the VAR, Chris. I feel like that's a bad luck. I mean, you can say maybe Elanga should hold his run. I don't know, but I feel like
I did say it. I did message you and I did say it, so I'm going to admit that. I'm just going, Elanga should hold his run there. Elanga should hold his run, but it was really tight. And looking back at the replay, like, it's just a lovely ball from Gibbs White. And looking back at the replay, initially, I'll be honest, I thought it was offside. As soon as I saw the replay, I thought if that was the other way, I'd be thinking that's slightly, very, very slightly, but it is offside. So I do think it's offside. But I feel bad that in the moment I said you should hold your run, Elanga, but that's just how I felt. It's unlucky. It's unfortunate. Villa defense did really well there. They stepped up. Like, that's just imprinted in their brain because they know VAR could be coming, and they defensively were really, really good until they were undone the last 10 minutes. They were actually really good today. Their shape was really, really good. Ours was good too. And you'd think it was going to take something special to undo both teams. But yeah, I felt it was slightly offside. And I thought it was fair enough. I was just annoyed,
Yeah, it's cruel. It is cruel. I mean, I hate that VAR is decided by those small margins. I guess to the letter of the law, if that's how they're calling it, then his hand is offside. I'd still question whether the lines were drawn right because it looked like Morgan had played the ball. But I don't know. Talk about that if you want, Fothers, but also more about Elanga's impact off the bench because he's been maligned this season. I thought he was very good when he came on.
I'd like to just touch on VAR a little bit if I can. I think that scoring goals in the Premier League is one of the hardest things. And that's why the strikers get paid what they get paid. And when you're talking about millimetres like that, and when it takes so long, I mean, to sit in the ground, it felt like, I mean, I don't know how long it was, Chris, Matt, you were watching it, but in the ground, it felt like it just like stood around. Nobody knows what's going on. And it's just, come on, if it's taking you that long to make that decision and draw those lines, give the benefit to the attacking team. It's 1-1, get on with the game. And I think that was the loudest I've heard the VAR song sung at a Forest game. And let's be honest, we feel that VAR is against us, don't we? So that would be my take on that. I think Elanga has been hard done to. I think we have this thing where a winger and a striker and a number 10, every time they get it, we expect them to do something, and maybe we're just expecting a little bit too much from them. And I think Elanga's a very good player. It's only, he got the second most assists behind Gibbs White last season for the whole season for us. I think we just need to just chill out on Elanga and Hudson. I thought Hudson-Odoi was brilliant today as well. I thought every time he got it, he looked like he wanted to do something with it. He looked like he was going to do something with it. He kept cutting inside, and then the odd time he'd go the other way as well. Elanga's impact, I still think he's. There we go. Let's be controversial. I'd still have him in ahead of Jota Silva, to be honest, because I think Jota Silva is better coming off the bench. But having said that, when Elanga does come on and Villa are tiring after being away in the week, then what better player to bring him on? And every time he got it, he just started running at the fullback, and you thought something was going to happen. Thought it was great.
Elanga wouldn't like it, but there's probably an argument that he's great coming off the bench, and maybe he does it for a couple of weeks because Dominguez did a job defensively, going the other way as well. You want to come in there, Chris?
Yeah, just I think all of these players who are either in or out of form, wingers specifically from the bench or starting, they've been managed really, really well by Nuno. Nuno has taken his time with Jota Silva, even though Jota Silva proved himself time and time again off the bench, and eventually he's given him a run of games. And then for this game, he's taken him out strategically. Elanga was a bit off form and he's dropped him, and then he's brought him in at the right time, kept his confidence up, and Elanga gets the goal today, and he might start the next game. We don't know. And then Hudson-Odoi had a bit of a blip. Starts today. He was really, really threatening early on. He skipped past Matty Cash within the first 2 minutes of the game, and I thought, okay, this is the Hudson-Odoi we like to see. So I just think Nuno deserves a lot of credit, because to be able to manage, really talented young players who confidence might be coming in and out. It's a bit of a skill, and I think he's done really well with them, and his substitutions have been so on point, and getting all players, 4 or 5 wingers who are in and out of the team all the time, to believe in the same thing and aim in the right direction, even when they're getting dropped, that's the masterclass of management, and he's doing it.
Just before we come to the equaliser, and then we'll go back, we'll do it chronologically in case I actually forget one of the goals and look like an idiot. But just before that, a word for Nottingham Window Company. Thanks for their sponsorship, second sponsors of tonight's episode. If you're looking for windows, doors, not anything else, just windows or doors, then go on their website, see what takes your fancy. There's a gallery on screen here. Did my windows, did a fantastic job. So it's a big purchase, but I would definitely recommend them. It took us 3 years to go through with it, but don't regret it at all. So yeah, big investment, but worth it, I would definitely say. So thanks to Nottingham Window Company. Right, equaliser, Fothers. We were talking about Gibbs White earlier. Like I say, his impact on the game was probably in a small window, but I thought it was a really good cross. Should Martinez save it, do you think, when you watch it back, or not, having done so well with the first one that he unbelievably saved? Did he carry this one over the ball and over the line? Can we be critical as well as praising Milenkovic for the header?
I think we can because he made himself big, and he probably should be getting that sort of pushed out. And actually, all he's done is be able to push it into the goal. But it's a fantastic header again, isn't it? And you can see that. And it is quite point blank range as well. So it's hard to. It's easy to criticise the goalkeeper when he's let one in. But I think it was point blank range. He's really got hold of the header, and he's got something on it, hasn't he? And then obviously pretended to hurt his leg on the post to hide his embarrassment. But as you know, Matt, I love Gibbs White, and I think he's the one that can open the doors, and he's the one that's involved in all of the the majority of the goals that we score. And that ball that he played out to Callum Hudson-Odoi that you mentioned earlier, Chris, which I think was for the goal that was disallowed, wasn't it? Yes. When he picked it up on the edge of the box and just pinged it, and then he's on the edge of the box again, putting that ball through. So yeah, it's great to see Milenkovic scoring. It's great to see us dangerous from crosses, and it's actually great to see us putting crosses in, isn't it? Because the number of times we're in positions where we can put a cross in, but actually we just knock it back and we knock it around a bit. Get the ball in the middle when Milenkovic is in there, and he'll do what he's started doing. It's great.
I'm really conscious of touching my eyes now, or my face in general, after people in the comments are flagging me for it. I don't know how much I've actually been doing it. Thank you very much to Managerial for donating a membership. Very kind of you. If anyone wants to grab that now, I don't know how it works really, but very good of him. Right, the goal, the winner, Chris. So much to like about it. There was a little bit of controversy, but we'll come to that. But just in terms of Morato reads the play, Anderson wins it back, and then he's got the forethought and quality to pick him out, and it's a good finish from Elanga to execute all that in the 92nd minute when you're probably knackered, and to win a Premier League game of football against top side. I mean, dreamland stuff again, isn't it?
Absolute. Like it's one of those narratives that we're rewriting for this team. Can we come back from 1-0 down and get not just a draw but win the game late? And we did it today. And it's Anderson again. Anderson and Gibbs-White are those two players that can have moments of absolute game-changing ability. They can just take the game by the scruff of the neck. We just had Gibbs-White doing that. Now we have Anderson doing it as well. And yeah, it was just unbelievable. And I noted that down as well. Morato winning the ball and just. I thought, was it a foul? I think it probably was a foul that Anderson put on him. I wouldn't have, if the ref had blown it, I would have thought fair enough. But as we said, the ref was playing the lenient game today, and he was being consistent. So you have to respect that. And Anderson, just to get down the byline and keep going and get that ball across. And like you said, Matt, at the beginning, you're so happy for Elanga. Like, it's just class for him to get a goal. Great for his confidence. And then you kind of have, again, all these wingers are really happy because they're starting to all pitch in with goals and stuff. But look at the last two games now. Anderson's got a couple of assists. Gibbs-White's got a couple of assists and a goal. The two of them are serious weapons for us, especially when they're on the pitch and when they come alive. I felt like Anderson battled really well today all round. And Gibbs-White obviously had a bit of a poor first half, but came alive. But yeah, the goal, and as Father said, like, it just sent everyone into absolute dreamland. I was screaming my lungs out in here, and I honestly just couldn't believe. I was like, is this really happening? Like, are we really doing a comeback after beating Man United at Old Trafford last week to put ourselves into fourth? Yes is the answer, and it's down to Gibbs-White and Anderson today. Big moments, and Anderson with that goal it's just amazing. And then we were really comfortable with the last few minutes of the game. We just held on, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask you about that, Fothers, in a sec. I mean, if I'm on it, I always try and be honest. I do think it was a foul, and I think if it's given, they're the ones that are given 9 times out of 10, and you're annoyed.
Yeah.
That you think, if this was a Villa podcast, and we were talking about that goal, then we've gone against us. We'd all be raging and saying, why hasn't the ref given that free kick? So I do think deep down it probably was a foul, but I give Anderson a lot of credit because Cash was looking for the foul and doing what Ryan Yates does. And Ryan Yates probably maybe did it at City, we don't know, and didn't get away with it. And Cash hasn't got away with it here. But I think it's in a Premier League game of football, 9 times out of 10 that they're given, I would say. Right. Did you want to come in, Chris? Because you're unmuted.
I was just going to say, you are right. Like 9 times out of 10 they're given, and Cash did the right thing, got his foot in front of the ball, the body in front of the ball, and went down. And I kept looking at the replay going, but did Anderson get the ball and it was just a good crunching tackle? I kept looking, I was like, very little of the ball he got. So you are right. It could be given as a foul, but I think for me, it goes on the ref's consistency. What's he been like most of the game? He's been fairly lenient. And if he's been fairly lenient most of the game, then you think absolutely fair enough. He might let something like that go because there was a few 50-50s he let go throughout the game. And yeah, that's kind of my thing is if the ref wasn't lenient, he was blown for everything like the one last week at Old Trafford in the first half against us, then fair enough. But with this, I just think the ref was just trying to be consistent for once.
No, yeah. I think the ref had a decent game because you only want consistency. I don't know if you think it was different in the ground for this, but I give the ref credit. And also, feel free to comment on that. But just management of those final 3 or 4 minutes and nerves after the goal follows, because he did find another 90 seconds past the 97th minute. Were you confident we'd see it out?
He did, and I was. And you've sat and watched the game with me, Matt. You know how nervous I get.
I do.
And there were a couple. I was doing that. I was like, it's 97. What are you doing? But no, I think credit to Morato as well, because when Murillo went off, am I allowed to say on here that we didn't really miss Murillo? I don't know if they're allowed to say that.
Yeah, say whatever you want.
I can say that out loud. But he was so good when he came on. Willy Bolly was fantastic when he came on as well, wasn't he? And no, I thought it was quite comfortable. I think just going back to the fans and the sort of reaction to how it was all going, and the referee and the frustrations and stuff, I think it always comes over more in the crowd, doesn't it? The fans always seem to be agitated than the players. The players just seem to be able to get on with it. They know they can influence what's going on, whereas we sit there as fans and I find it particularly frustrating. I thought, and I don't know what the rules are with VAR. I should know this. I'm on your podcast, Matt. But I thought he was going to call it back for the foul. Scores, and I'm like, VAR are going to be in his ear and they're going to tell him there's been a foul on the edge of the box. But I don't think they can they? I don't think they can sort of pull it back unless it's a clear and obvious mistake. But for me, Matty Cash is looking for that foul and got what he deserved, and I love Matty Cash. So it's a shame it was him. But yeah, for me, that I've seen them given, like you say, 9 times out of 10 it's given. It wasn't. Anderson reacted to it, put it on a plate for Elanga, and the rest's history. 3 more points, 4th in the Premier League. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, the VAR could have gone back and pulled it. I think it was a goal. Yeah, Wolves and Bournemouth. I think there was one ridiculously pulled back earlier in the season, but it's got to be a high threshold. And if the refs refereed it, as Chris said, to that level, then I'd have been annoyed if they'd gone back. Even though I do think it was a foul, I don't know if it was like a howling error from the ref. So yeah, VAR could have done something, but they didn't. Right, thank you very much to Peter. 750 people still with us, which is great. Do hit like and subscribe, and it is free to do. Or you can sign up to be a member or sign up for Patreon. That's not free, but you'll get some benefits like ad-free shows, early access to shows, members' socials. Fathers, thank you for hosting the quiz the other night. Bloody hard, but very much enjoyed it. We asked a few of the questions on Thursday, and I think people struggled there. But no, I really enjoyed it, and it was good of you to do it. Right, I think we're coming to the end. Chris, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say before we depart?
I am so happy with how brave this team has been over the last few weeks. We haven't drawn a game since Chelsea, I think. If I'm wrong, someone comment and let me know. But we haven't drawn a game since Chelsea. We went on a run of 3 wins in a row, and then obviously we lost to Newcastle. But we've been bouncing back and forth. We're not just looking to shut up shop and try and scrape a draw. We're being brave and trying to go for the win. Today, the game, I mean, the life was sucked out of the game for the most part because both teams were being very defensive. But the moment we went behind, we said, we're not going for a draw here. We're going to try and win this. So we had a disallowed goal and 2 goals late. So, technically 3 times the ball was in the back of the net. I'm just so happy with how brave this team has been. I think we can start believing a little bit now. We're getting close to Christmas, as I said at the start. We have to believe that this team can go on and keep being brave. I just hope that they're smart enough to keep insular and not do anything crazy, not look at the table and get carried away themselves. Just keep game by game with what Nuno's been doing. And January's around the corner. If we've any injuries or any issues like from today, we can maybe fix them then. And obviously Sangari and Danilo are coming back as well. But I'm really, really happy with how brave we've been. And it's just incredibly exciting as Forest fans. Leeds gave it a good go when they came up and they finished 9th one season. We're top 4 now, closing in on Christmas, and it's not miracle stuff. This has been methodical. There's been good recruitment. The manager's done really well in pre-season, and the players are all stepping up. So yeah, just absolutely chuffed to bits.
Thank you very much to Jason for signing up as a member. That's very kind of you, Jason, and anyone else that signed up lately. Appreciate that. Danscape, you might be asking for your money back in a minute. It's very kind of you to give a £5. I was going to be really cheeky and ask not only could you update the European Dream Tracker, could I be super cheeky and see if you can do a Champions League Dream Tracker? If you want your money back, I'll send you a £5. But yeah, I'm dreaming so much, and you're the man for the hour. As soon as I saw you pop up, I thought, would he do a Champions League Dream Tracker? At least while we're in there. So tell me where to go if you want in the chat, and I might put it on screen. But otherwise, you remain evermore a hero and Willy Bolly's biggest fan. Fothers, anything from you before we go?
I just think that, we've nearly played everybody once now, and you sort of look at it, and every week it's like we're in dreamland. We've now nearly played all 19 teams in the Premier League, and we're fourth, and it's like I keep pinching myself. I keep expecting the next result to be the bad one. I thought when we lost at Man City that, here we go, this is the start of it. And then we bounced back with a win at Old Trafford and coming back from 1-0 down against Villa to, let's be honest, it was 3-1 today, apart from a ridiculous VAR decision. So just loving life. The fact that we're here, what are we, 2 weeks from Christmas, and fourth in the Premier League, in the Champions League places. It just, if you'd said that to me at the start of the season when we were having the podcast and saying we need a new striker and we need a new goalkeeper, and here we are, fourth in the Premier League. And the other thing, Darren Fletcher said on one of the podcasts a couple of months ago, we've never seen this Forest team play without the pressure of having to get points to stay up. Well, we're only 2 or 3 wins away now from being safe, which sounds ridiculous when you're fourth in the Premier League. But what is that going to mean when we're actually relaxed and there's no pressure to not lose a game or to... And the number of times we've got, it's a must-win game. We're going to go into the last 15, 16 games where it's not a must-win game, but actually the players can go and enjoy it. The fans can go and enjoy it. Who knows? Who knows what that might lead to? And I, for one, can't wait for it all to start.
You said that, Dan, you'd have to do the Champions League Dream Tracker now. Don't worry. I was thinking more like by
do it if you can, Thursday. Though. If you do it now.
Wait outside the car.
Thanks, Dan.
Do it now, Dan. Come on.
No, I'm only joking. What a legend.
I know. What a legend indeed. He's a legend. Lots of legends watch and listen to this podcast. So, yeah, you're a good man, Dan. Right. I think we'll leave it there. Did you want to come back in, Chris, or not?
Yeah, so Matt Davies very kindly sent me a Forest Focus mug, and it took a while to get sorted because the postal system coming to Ireland and all that. I know it sounds ridiculous. It should be very straightforward. So if anyone wants to buy a Forest Focus mug, I don't know where you can buy them. I'm going to give a shameless plug for your mugs because we have a few as well, and I just wanted to. We have a few Forest Lover ones, but I just want to give your one a bit of a plug. And last but not least, don't let all the fans of other teams off the hook right now when Forest are in fourth. Don't let the Man United fans off the hook. Don't let the Liverpool fans off the hook. Don't let the Derby fans off the hook. Just go at them as much as you can right now and enjoy it while there's hay to make, while the sun is shining. We have to enjoy this moment. Don't let any of those fans off the hook. Go straight for them. That's it. That's all I want to say other than that. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Fathers.
Can I just say that the postage to Ireland with those mugs is obviously better than the postage to West Bridgeford because I
you not got one.
Oh, he's not got one.
I don't
let him down, Matt. You've let him down.
Oh, I'll sort you one out, Fathers. Don't worry. I'll sort you one out. I should put the league table up. I did do it while we're here, just so we can enjoy it. That is the league table. Obviously, obviously City play tomorrow. They play Man United, so they'll probably win that one. But,
can't see Man United. Where are Man United? That's why they're in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
Is that is that the famous team in fourth? 3 points off second. I think it is.
Are you dreaming of second now? You're just waiting for Chelsea to lose to Brentford tomorrow.
Gained on Liverpool. Made gains on Liverpool today, Matt. Liverpool and Arsenal drew, so we've made gains in those two. Look, come on, let's have it right.
Dan, can you do the title tracker? See how far we are from the Premier League.
Yes.
Just on the mugs. Well, Mrs. Davis has set up a merchandise section that should be live soon. So hopefully, if the test one arrives safely, then we'll sort all that out. But it'll be after Christmas now. If I was a better organised businessman, which everyone knows I'm not, then I'd have sorted this out way before Christmas. But hopefully, mugs will be properly on sale and available soon. So leave that one with us. We'll be back on Monday. I say with Prutz. I mean, when Prutz replies to me and confirms he can do it, it'll be with Prutz, hopefully, and Temps and Greg or Pete, I can't quite remember. And then Rick Parfitt on Tuesday, Touchwood Guy Mowbray on Wednesday, and then we'll turn our attention to Brentford. Another tough game, I must admit, as tough as this one, because they're very good at home. So lots to look forward to, and obviously very much looking forward to talking through it all with you in the next few days. Right, if you've enjoyed this, as ever, do us a favour. I should find the video and be better organised. Do hit like, do hit subscribe. Like I say, you can become a channel member or sign up for Patreon for a few benefits there, or give us a lovely review on iTunes or Spotify, or just listen. Even just listening is massive and massively appreciated as we get to the end. We've done a year now, as we head into year 2 of Forest Focus. So yeah, all your support is very much welcome and appreciated. And a happy Christmas. I haven't said happy Christmas yet. Happy Christmas to everyone who is listening. Chris Aylmer, thank you very much. When is your next podcast?
At some stage within the next few days with Matt. We're going to do our Christmas special early because Matt, the other Matt, my Matt's flying out to Thailand for 4 weeks. So he will be doing some podcasts from there, but we will be doing a Christmas special within the next few days. So we'll probably do it a little bit early. So that's when the next one is for that.
Absolute car crash, that lad. I thought he was stranded in another
unbelievable
country, and now he's off to Thailand for 4 weeks.
I know he's all over the place, but hopefully he's with me in a few days' time. So yeah.
Right, check that one out, everyone. Check that one out. Fothers, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Matt. Thank you. Can I just give myself a little bit of a plug for Boxing Day in the NAV, doing the quiz pre-match. So loads of fun and games from around 12:30 in the NAV on Boxing Day.
There's already been an appeal for an end of season quiz on here, so I might be tapping you up for that.
Not a problem. Anything you need, mate. My pleasure.
But by the way, just last thing, Fathers, I was at the Ipswich game and you were brilliant. I was there as you were doing the quiz and stuff. I thought you were great. I think it might have been one of the first times I've seen you there for some reason. Maybe I wasn't there early enough or whatever, but you were great. And were some of those questions the other day, Matt, were they his, did you say, on Thursday or whatever it was?
Well, this did them all.
You did them all. Well, I got a couple of them right. And I thought they were brilliant questions. So yeah. Well done. Particularly the one about the 4 goal scorers in a row, 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011, top goal scorers all the way up. That was good. So that tricked a few of us because it was such dark days. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, everyone. Great to have you with us this evening. How could we not enjoy it? 4th in the Premier League, marching on in the Champions League places. It's almost Christmas. Season the stuff dreams are made of. So really enjoying talking through it all with you. Like I say, back on Monday. So have a good evening, everyone. And if we don't see you tomorrow, we shall see you soon.